Hello and welcome to the McTaggart Attack Podcast. In this episode, I answer the question, does the WWE Superstar The Miz belong in the WWE Hall of Fame? Let me know what you think about this episode by commenting about it in the YouTube video or following me on social media, finding me on social media at McTaggart Attack on either Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok, or email me McTaggartAttack@gmail.com with whatever you think about this. Do you think The Miz is a Hall of Famer? Let me know. And don't forget, if you're listening to it, subscribe, rate, and review. Anyway, let's get on to the rest of the episode where I give my opinion on whether The Miz belongs in the Hall of Fame. I have very high standards when it comes to a lot of things, I guess. But in regards to this episode, I have very high standards when it comes to the Hall of Fame. Any Hall of Fame. My litmus test for the Hall of Fame is, if you ask me if so-and-so is in the Hall of Fame or should be in the Hall of Fame, and if I answer yes, if I answer yes right away, then that person is definitely a Hall of Famer. But if I say no, obviously they aren't. But if I hesitate on the answer and answer yes, then to me, that's not worth being a Hall of Fame. If I have to think about it, when asked the question, does someone belong in the Hall of Fame, then they don't, because to me it's a cut and dry issue. It's a definite issue. It's a clear thing. I just don't believe that you should have low standards for a Hall of Fame, because if you let everybody into the Hall of Fame, then it's just a hall. It's not a Hall of Fame, it's just a hall. So, what are Hall of Fames for? To show off the past, Which is great, which is fine, which is fantastic. Those are museums. Have them enshrined into a museum. Sure, have them be a Hall of Fame. Sure. I'm not saying there shouldn't be a Hall of Fame. I'm just saying that I have very high standards when it comes to Halls of Fame. And, like I said, they're really just museums. If they really want to treat retired players well and their families, give them health insurance. Pay off, give them health insurance, benefits for life, stuff like that. Treat them well. Because they played your game or your sport to the best of their ability and you've deemed them to be in the Hall of Fame. Do something for them instead of just give them a bust or say that or induct them into the Hall of Fame or give them a ring or anything like that. I just think you can't let everybody into the Hall of Fame, but you can, and that's fine. But this is sort of a separate issue. You should have high standards for the Hall of Fame, but if you really want to honor retired athletes, you should give them lifetime benefits and, so help them out for the rest of their life, because they bust their ass for you for years. The least you could do is give a retired athlete, benefits. That's how you truly honor retired players instead of a Hall of Fame, because who honestly gives a shit about that? I don't really. Not that big of a deal to me. Went on a bit of a rant that I wasn't meaning to go on there, but this episode is about The Miz, WWE Superstar The Miz. There was a Twitter question. Someone asked this question on Twitter a couple days ago. Do you think The Miz will be inducted into the Hall of Fame? And I answered honestly. To me, The Miz is one of those people that I hesitate to answer yes on. Do I think he'll be in the WWE Hall of Fame? Of course. But according to my standards, no. I don't think he's Hall of Fame level. He's been a great superstar. He's won numerous titles. He's there every day. Does whatever they want him to do. It's good. But as a fan, I've never gotten too much into The Miz. I'm just not a big fan of The Miz. Like, I hate him when he's a heel. I hate him when he's a heel character. And he does a great job with that. But to me, the great ones do well at both. Because The Miz can be a great heel. But The Miz as a face, there have been two times for him to be a face or a good guy. For those of you who don't know what the hell I'm saying, heel is bad guy, face is good guy. Or good person. Anyway, you know what the fuck I'm trying to say. And it's just, to me, The Miz has done a great job over his career as a heel or a bad guy. I'm not going to clarify that again. But I've never seen him have a good run as a good guy. A successful run as a good guy. The last time, actually both times he's been a good guy, it's sort of puttered out and they just switched him to a heel. You know? Like, the last time, he had that feud with Shane McMahon. And he had a big match with Shane. Lost at WrestleMania. And then continued to lose a few other matches over the next couple months. And he just started yelling at the fans. Like, really? I'm like, really? Are they going to give up on his face turn already? I know it's been like 6 or 7 months. But I mean, give him an opportunity. I think he would do a really good job as a face. But I haven't seen it yet. He seems too one-dimensional to me in the good guy, bad guy crowd. I feel like he's better as a bad guy than he is a good guy. Meaning, like, he has yet to me gotten, like, consistently good reactions as a good guy. You hate him as a bad guy. He does a great job of having you hate him. But I just haven't seen enough in his career to think that he's been good at being a good guy. One run, I mean, the Shane McMahon feud was good, but it was like, that's it. Let's keep him being a good guy. Let's see where this goes. Go with this. Give him a world title run as a good guy. You know? Then I'd consider it. But it's like, I just don't consider him I don't consider him a Hall of Famer in my book. But he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Just not my Hall of Fame. Because the WWE lets anyone into their Hall of Fame. And he'll be a Hall of Famer. But to me, the standards that the WWE has for Hall of Famers is, I don't think they have standards. They just invite people and they say yes or no. That's from what I understand the standards are for the WWE Hall of Fame, which are the lowest amongst any Hall of Fame, because it's not like the wrestlers are asking to be into the Hall of Fame. They could care less about the Hall of Fame, I don't think. I think some of them do, but I have to think that most of them are just doing it for the money. But I don't think they actually campaign to be Hall of Famers. Most of them don't. I think they get asked, hey, we want you to be in the Hall of Fame. You know? Okay, great. There's no voting involved. There's no committee that selects the Hall of Famers for the WWE. It's whether Vince McMahon wants them in it or not. That's it. That's the committee. With the NFL, you have like a committee of writers and such who select who they think the inductees should be. And that's fine. But, like, again, the NFL pisses me off because they allow, like, They have to have 7 inductees. What, really? I like baseball because sometimes they don't have inductees. Because you can't have everybody in the Hall of Fame. It's just a hall. And according to me and my standards, I don't think The Miz is good enough to be a Hall of Famer. Even though he will be. But according to me, in my standards, in my Hall of Fame, he does not belong in the Hall of Fame. One last thing that I want to add to this before we end the episode today is, while I don't think The Miz is a WWE Hall of Famer right now, the dude is only 40 years old. He's got plenty of time to establish his career to the next level. I think he's had a good career. I just don't think he's a Hall of Famer. You can't really call someone a Hall of Famer when they're midway through their career, basically. Because he's like 40 years old. He's got at least 15 years left on his career. So you can't just declare someone a Hall of Famer at this stage in their career. You know? But like, that's a caveat to that question. Like, you can't ask me if someone's a Hall of Famer if they're still playing. I need to wait and see until what they've done with their career when it's over. Some people you can tell that they're a Hall of Famer. The Miz, I can't tell if he's a Hall of Famer yet. But when he retires, and I ask myself that question, and if I think he's a Hall of Famer, then yeah. But like, as of right now, based on what he's done and what he's not done, I don't consider The Miz a Hall of Famer yet. But he could be. But Hall of Fames are stupid anyway. So there. Thank you so much for watching and or listening to the episode today. I really appreciate it. Please be sure to let me know what you thought. And that's the bottom line, if you smell what the McTaggart Attack Podcast is cooking.